So could it be that Josh D'Amaro is going to reimagine Disney Villains Land and make it much better than what the initial offering was going to be? That seems to be what the wrap is pointing toward, and we'll take a look at this and give some thoughts on the state of Disney and Josh D'Amaro and all of that. So welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
She's a trooper. She's trying to get through this.
I actually sound worse today, just FYI.
Yeah, she's been sick this week, so she's not gonna miss out on an opportunity to talk about Disney.
Well, you need me to talk about it because I'm the one that knows what's going on.
Yeah, I don't even care. I used to eat, sleep, and breathe Disney and the Disney side of things, the business and all that. So, and I don't keep up with it anymore. She does.
Well, so what's going on is basically we talked before that the rumor was that they were scrapping Villains Land plans and changing them. So it seems like it's more information on that. The Wrap apparently has their sources. Again, nothing's confirmed because nothing's been officially announced by Disney, coming to them and saying, yes, they are changing things that as of winter, like end of last year, that there was things that got, they're scrapping it and they're redoing it. So that's where we're sitting at.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that and some of the rumored expansion plans for Disney Villains Land, and we'll talk about just Josh D'Amaro in general. And I have a good feeling about this guy. I just don't know if he's gonna be allowed to do what he wants to do or needs to do to turn things around at Disney. But we'll discuss it. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
If you'd like a woohoo you can take home with you, go out to Kickstarter, and we have the Ginger Rage Geeky Sparkles enamel pins, and she is here so she can talk about her rage herself. You don't really sound like
I can't really rage today. I'm sorry.
But you guys have been awesome. It was actually funded within a couple of hours, and we didn't even announce we were going to do this. We're like, you know what? We're already making pins for the Ren campaign. Let's just do an extra one and see if people are interested. We had a couple of people ask us about her raging avatar, and so check it out on Kickstarter. All right, so let's talk about the rumor first. So, Disney dropped the plans for Villains Land a couple of years ago. It wasn't really that impressive, and it felt like it was just to try to take some of the thunder away from Universal.
I think so. And I mean, it was blue sky stuff. I guarantee you, when they do this, it never looks the way they show it to you originally. Yeah. So, I mean, because they're having these giant mountain ranges and all this crap, and you're going to get some of the jaggy rocks. It looks like they're Tomorrowland rocks, and I'm sure there might be a castle or a dragon or something in there at some point. Who knows? But you're not going to be like, oh, look, it's going to be like all this mountain ranges, and it never was going to look like that. But what we knew from what they teased back then was a coaster, which you can see it, in the background. There's different tracks and stuff.
There's always a coaster. There's a
coaster that would look like a Maleficent coaster. And then there was going to be a family, indoor dark ride. And then restaurants and shopping and things. So, but it sounds like the plans have changed now. And instead of a Maleficent coaster, the rumor is they're going to go with Emperor's New Groove, with Kronk and Yzma. Yeah,
which I look, looking at some of the rumors here, it feels like they're leaning into the 90s. And I love that.
It makes sense too. Like you said before we came on, it was a huge push with Gen Z for these old, like the Emperor's New Groove and Hercules and Atlantis, and those ones have been really popular. I say later millennials and early Gen Zs. Gen Zs are early into it. Our daughters loves these, loves that lost generation of movies.
Yeah, there really is a lost era of Disney movies. We had the Renaissance, and then after Tarzan, I think people just kind of forgot.
Tarzan, to me, Tarzan's included with these.
Oh, really? Yeah, I guess Tarzan was kind of a bigger deal.
It was, but people didn't really pay attention to it. Tarzan, Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis, I think those ones fall into it. I think when it starts to come back out was with Lilo and Stitch. And it kind of reminds me of the 80s where they had Oliver and Company and the Rescuers in the 70s and 80s and Sword and Stone and stuff. It was kind of like that era that was there, but it wasn't like the big ones when you started with the Disney princess movies and stuff. It was just like that.
Yeah, I would say a lot of those movies aged a hell of a lot better than Pocahontas. I never cared for Pocahontas.
No, but I'm just saying, I mean, I would argue that from Hercules to Atlantis or whatever. Treasure Planet. Those are the ones that are all kind of in that group that you don't hear much about
Treasure Planet is weird because that one really got buried, and all of a sudden, like all these kids are all about Treasure Planet. It's like, where the hell were you? You know, when the movie came out, nobody went to go see it. But I'm also like, are we going to have a whole nother generation of kids that are like, hell, look, Strange World?
It could be. I doubt it, but you never know. Or Elio or something like that. You could be.
Yeah.
Even though these movies did better than this. I mean, at least
Yeah.
no one's going back to be like, hey, Brother Bear and Home on the Range.
Oh my God. Brother Bear wasn't, well, it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. Home on the Range, well, now it'd be canceled because Roseanne Barr.
But I just think it's just, you know. So anyway, they're talking that the coaster could be Emperor's New Groove, which makes sense because you have the Kronk and Eastman thing. And I think people would probably, I mean, I still think Maleficent coaster would be more fun, but I think that the Emperor's New Groove would be a lot popular. I think it'd be popular.
This is not one, given its financial underperformance. This is not one I ever thought I would really see in the parks. So I'm actually excited about that. And our daughter didn't know. She just found out this Christmas that Eartha Kitt was Yzma, and that Eartha Kitt sang Santa Baby, and that Eartha Kitt was Catwoman. So I had to connect all the dots.
Well, she knew those things, but she didn't know them together. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. I was like, hey, you love Emperor's New Groove. You love Santa Baby. You love Catwoman. Guess what? It's all the same person. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I know, right?
She's very happy about that. Anyway, she does. Her favorites tend to be Emperor's New Groove, Tarzan, Hercules. Hercules is another one in that group. And that's going to be represented as well. But if you go down, there's a quote from the Wrap article I put in here. You can read it because my speaking is not great.
Okay, so this is from the Wrap. They said it's being converted into a more family-friendly coaster along the lines of Slinky Dog Dash at Hollywood Studios, this time themed to the Emperor's New Groove. This makes sense considering the antagonists Yzma and Kronk actually ride a roller coaster in the 2000 comedy, and how many more guests can you get on the ride with the lower height requirement? Yeah, Maleficent will still be a major presence. Yeah, Maleficent has to be in it because she's like the queen of the villains until they nerfed her and made her just misunderstood.
In the Blue Sky, they have like, it's obviously very much based on her, and then they have like the dragon and stuff. She's going to be there, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. So the indoor dark ride now, I think it's going to be themed to Sleeping Beauty. But it's going to be, again, it's going to be like kind of based on the Pirates of the Caribbean in Shanghai, which is a lot of screens, but it's very, very popular.
Yeah, but it's cool as hell. If you've never watched a ride through, I almost said walk through. Yeah, if you walk through it, you're gonna be swimming. Watch a ride through of that attraction. It's based on the movies. It's awesome. You go back.
It's the most popular Pirates of the Caribbean version, I think, with fans. So they're talking that. So that's we're gonna see probably Maleficent there. I was kind of hoping they get like a dragon, like they have at Disneyland Paris. You know, that there'd be like a dragon that you could see, like, you know, moving and breathing.
Well, it looks like they have the dragon.
And the Blue Sky. But the Blue Sky, as we know, is called Blue Sky for a reason.
Well, it depends on the budget, right? And, but, I mean, if you want to compete with Harry Potter and you want to compete with Universal Monsters, having an animatronic dragon that breathes fire, if you can make a green fire, that'd be cool. But they've also had a lot of bad luck with dragons and fire at Disney. So
yes, and the Maleficent dragon in the which everybody loves in the one my mind it's escaped me what it's called now. Festival Fantasy.
Festival Fantasy, yeah.
It was blowing fire and caught itself on fire.
Right.
And then we had the Maleficent dragon and Phantasmic.
Yes, they've had a lot of.
They had
bad
that
luck.
one catch on fire. So you know. So now there's also a mysterious third attraction that people were talking about. There was going to be a third attraction. People are like, no, there can't be because, you know, the footprint, if you're having a coaster or you're having an indoor thing and, you know, basically you have the layout, you can change that to whatever. Like you could make it a Kronk and Yzma coaster, even though it was meant to be a Maleficent coaster and use the same kind of footprint and that won't change anything. But a third ride, people were like, no, it's going to mess up with the permits for like the water tables and all that. But they're talking like it's going to be kind of like an out of the box type situation where they just might make it look like, you know, theme it to Ursula in this case, but it's going to be like a spinning ride, you know, a la Dumbo. It's probably tentacles going up and down. So it sounds like they're going to make it the Inside Out, like emotional whirlwind ride they have on the Pixar Pier area, the Inside Out area. And it sounds like that's what they're going to do with it. It's going to be something that's kind of like a carnival ride out of the box, what you think of like for when we had Dinoland, but they might theme it to Ursula is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I hate when they do the off-the-shelf attractions. I mean, there's got to be something else to make
Well,
it really cool.
I don't think they can do much else because they already have permits and stuff in and footprints in, and they already got the water management thing, which they had to push it back. Remember last year?
Yeah.
I don't think they want to mess with any of that too much, and this won't take a lot of room, but you can get extra traction in there because at the end of the day, and they do make a big point of saying that in the article too. What they're trying to do is, and I said this before, is they're trying to expand the new land. So you can put more people in the park. You can get more tickets sold, and you can get more lightning lanes.
Yeah.
Sold for these either individual or passes or whatever, and it's all about money. So they're gonna be like, well, we have this other little carousel thing that you can get lightning lane for too, even though we're just shoving it on in there.
Shoving it in there.
So that's the rumor with that one, but it's probably it kind of reminds me of I have a picture here. I think it's called the Monster or something at Kings Island. I saw another thing that was like from
it's
China.
like a Merry Mixer. That'd be okay.
I'm wondering. I don't know that it's a spinning ride of some kind. So I'm wondering something like that, or it's something like just it has like 8 arms and each one like goes up and down, but looks like tentacles of some kind. I'm thinking when they say a spinning ride like Dumbo, I think they're meaning something like that, or Magic Carpets.
Yeah,
but it's just going to be like 8 tentacles.
But that's really simplistic. Something like this, though, because the adults could ride it too. That should be.
I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I think it's going to be something in the realm of it looks like a tentacle, but it's a spinning ride, and it could be like the Carpets or Dumbo or this or something like that. That's a out of the box. We're going to make it look like Ursula type thing.
So they got the camels spitting in Adventureland. Are they going to have Ursula like spray you with boob sweat or something? Or?
I doubt that. Highly.
Go around. It's like Ursula.
She inks you.
She inks you. Oh my god.
She inks in the movie. I'm just saying.
Well, they already have the Little Mermaid rides. It's kind of like it'd be weird but I mean, again, Ursula needs her own thing, right? That'd be kind of cool.
Well, that's what they're saying. They're saying they're thinking something like along the lines of Ursula and like that.
Okay. Okay. Hear me out, Disney. Hear me out.
Okay.
Okay. You bought Fox. You own Aliens. Let's do Alien Encounter with Xenomorphs and scare the shit out of people.
Well, they took Alien Encounter out of Magic Kingdom because it was too freaky for kids, which that thing was freaky for adults. I remember being in line for that thing because I rode it a couple times, and there were poor little kids in line, and the parents were just like, "It's fine." It wasn't fine. It wasn't fine.
Yeah, So this one's interesting. You said there's going to be a big dinner show featuring the characters from Hercules, including Hades. Would they dare to call James Wood back?
Oh, probably not.
Wouldn't that be wild? I mean, I don't know if you'd go
Well,
back.
I don't know because they might.
Does he still voice Hades?
I don't know. I mean, they could just be they still probably use AI or something to make his voice. But they said they'll probably get some kind of deal they can do that. But they said Hades is going to rule over a dinner show that's being described as a vein of like the Diamond Horseshoe Review.
Yeah.
Pain and Panic will be along for the fun. Additional villains will be filtering in, kind of like I think like the one show they have at Hollywood Studios now, and this will be a full service sit down restaurant with prefix dining, so they can get more money.
I would. If it were funny, I would actually be okay with that. I'd be kind of okay with it. Now, here's the thing. People are like, well, we want Villains Land to be scary. I'm like, other than Maleficent, the Disney villains really aren't that scary. Now, if he's going to go, if tomorrow's going to go on a fixing spree, dude, go back to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, put Dr. Facilier in the damn ride, and you might be able to make amends. Fix that, clean it up a little bit, because they took a lot of shortcuts on that.
They have to retheme the entire ride, though.
Yeah, well, you've already got the animatronics, so just make sure they work.
Because the screens are like, we're trying to get to the Friends for the Music Festival or whatever.
Because we couldn't have villains. If you're going all in on the villains, you put Dr. Facilier in that attraction, and you put some, the drop is the other side. You've got some Dayglow, voodoo masks and shit like that. Oh, that'd be huge.
They're not going to do that, but because it's going to cost a lot of time and money, and they're going to need, and they need all the rides they can't open because they have other things closed down or gone, to do this stuff. But there'll be shopping and things like that as well.
Of course there will be.
But that's
of course there'll be shopping.
That's what they're thinking. I mean, right now, the rumor, of course, nothing's confirmed. This is just what their sources have been telling them. But I've heard several places say that the plans have been changed. Now, you said about it being not scary. Couple things here. I did a video a while ago, and that's what we originally heard was it was going to be more whimsical and not scary.
Right.
I think they're still going to try to have that like villainous look about it, but they're talking like they might base it on Art Nouveau type styling, which I love Art Nouveau, by the way. So they're going to try to base it on that kind of stuff, and which sounds kind of like almost Japanish, in the way they're saying about it, in the Tokyo Sea, but they're going to do that. And there was talk they were going to make it more whimsical and less scary. And then they talked about they were going to make it more scary because of Epic Universe. So I'm not sure, but it sounds like if they're going with these changes, they are trying to walk back the scary to make it more family friendly. And I don't know how it's going to go over because people were hoping for something scary. So I don't know.
But, Hollywood Studios Aliens or something like that would be kind of cool. But I'm like the scariest thing.
Well, they had aliens in the Great Movie Ride, which they destroyed.
Yeah, I know.
I'm never gonna change my mind on that. I'm sorry. The Runaway Adventure is no. Great Movie Ride was far superior, and they just needed to fix it or add new things, and yeah.
Mickey Mouse belonged in the animation studio. You could have easily put the attraction there and then fixed up the Great Movie Ride. And if you didn't have the rights to certain movies, then you either worked out a deal or you put another Disney-owned movie in there. You own like half of Hollywood.
Now you could put Star Wars and all that crap in there.
Yeah, you could put Star Wars in there. You could, if the Wizard of Oz is going to be a problem, even though that's was one of the best parts of the ride, you take it out and put something else in it.
It's just cause that's why it was MGM Studios back in the day. And
yeah.
It took me forever to stop calling it that. By the way, I called it. How long did I call it that? Forever. It took me forever
until
to remember.
Last year.
Well, it wasn't that long, but I kept calling it MGM, and I had to teach myself. Probably until right before we did blogs and started doing podcasts, I had to teach myself to stop calling it that.
They were going to rename it completely. I know the 30th anniversary.
Oh, yes, I remember this.
We were there for the media event.
No, you were there for the media event.
Well,
I got screwed over again.
Okay, well, I was there for the media event for the 30th anniversary, and they were floating around some different names. It was like Disney's Cinemagic Park. It was like what? The like Hollywood Town or something. It was some really weird names, and it's like, no, just keep it Hollywood Studios. Actually, just call it Bob Iger's Junk Drawer because that's basically what it is now.
It's nowhere near what it was when it opened. It was basically like a working studio, and that hasn't been for a long time. So.
Yeah, so hopefully Damara can turn that around. But as far as Villains Land goes, the scariest thing is going to be your credit card statement. I think.
Yeah, I think so. The cost of the Lightning Lane and how much they're going to jack tickets up and add these new stuff to it. That's why they keep, I think, going all out and adding new stuff because they're going to be like, we can charge more.
So I guess the real question here, we'll talk about this for a minute or two before we wrap it up, is can Josh tomorrow turn things around at Disney? Because people that have listened to this channel for a long time, they think we're a bunch of Disney haters. It's not actually true. We don't like modern Disney. We don't like the direction the company has been going in for the last probably decade. But I would love to see the company return to its roots.
I think, and I did an article about this actually yesterday or the day before. I think that he's the best choice in as far as the fact that he is the most Disney of the people they've had in for a while. Like he embodies Disney, the Disney ethos. That's how they worded it, the best. And I agree. I think he is. Plus, he is like really about connection with either people he's working with, the cast members, the guests. Mm-hmm. The reason everybody loves him is because he actually like listens to. They said that he would when they found they got the Mattel thing with they were one of the princess dolls. He drove there to make sure that, he talked to them directly. He's the most Disney-esque person I think they've had. Now, people were worried, though, about, things like the movies and streaming and that. And that's why I think it's smart that Dana Walden got kept for a president position, because I think that she can take that stuff and has the connections there to run with it. So they both have their strengths. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how much he's going to be able to do when he's running everything. So I will have to see how it goes. But, I don't think it's doom and gloom, but I think a lot of people are really excited. But I also know he's not going to be as effective as he is as chairman of Parks and Experiences when he has to run everything. Yeah. He's not going to be able to have the time, I don't think, to go out as much as he does now and go drive to Mattel and stuff like he did. So we'll have to see how it goes. But I'm hopeful because he seems to get it.
Yeah, he definitely gets it. And that was, I said he is the best case scenario because this guy actually comes from the old school Disney culture.
They said he lives and breathes Disney.
Yeah, so, and that's what you want, right? Because Iger always felt to me like he was above Disney.
He thought he was above. Disney had to rise to meet where he was. You were a flippin' weatherman, Bob.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll see. We will watch this space and see if something cool happens. Maybe Disney can turn it around. You guys, would you go back if Disney turned it around? I don't know.
I think if the costs don't go down, they won't. I think Bob Iger's up his own ass and Tamara's not.
There we go. So there we go. Bob's up his own ass.
Yeah.
All right, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.